Hey everybody, Maria Bertholdi joined by Eduardo Sajgalik, and we're going to get a chance to see Luis Salvatto, our Player of the Year draft. And we heard Marshall say it, there might be a powerful deck somewhere at the table because Ben Stark's draft didn't go probably quite as he'd wished, but you can see where Luis was sitting in relation to Ben, so he was passing to him in packs 1 and pack 3. Pretty good players around the table as well, but let's take a look at what Luis Salvatto ended up with in his draft. There you see him right there, your Player of the Year, getting a look through his first pack here at the tournament, and there's a smile. So that's a pretty good start, Eduardo, from the very least. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty at the top of this pack, so we're not actually going to be able to take a look at what he picks first, but we'll get right into things with picks 2 and 3 and so on.
Yeah, normally when someone takes a card that fast,
it's a good sign?
Well, they know what they want. So all Luis is doing here is just reviewing the pack and going, what is coming back? Because,
sure.
And that's like the thing, right? Like when you're slam dunking like a pick, right? You're like, there's 40 seconds though. So from there, you kind of want to go, what's the texture going to look like? What are the next 2 cards going to be taken? So what do I think my neighbors are going to be on? And then what's going to come back my way? Because a draft deck, often you have 1 or 2 picks wiggle room, and then you need like those 9, 10 picks to round out your deck. So it's important to keep that in mind.
How hard is that to keep all that information in your head, Eduardo?
It's very hard. I've seen the most extreme example I've seen is I remember a Grand Prix where Saito remembered if there were any cancels open in the booster draft at all, and trying to remember when playing a match of Magic.
All right, so here we get a look at the pack here for pick number 2, Conclave Tribunal, really strong, Sky Knight Legionnaire, pulled to the front, Ladev Champion in here, Plaid Crafter, a lot of good powerful options.
Yeah, so with the rare missing here, that can, obviously you can't read signals this early, so just take the most powerful card, Conclave Tribunal, usually correct.
Do you like taking something like really powerful removal over a creature that's really good that puts you in a specific guild?
So like, Conclave Tribunal is far beyond in power level compared to a lot of the commons, and it's monocolored, so there's a heavy incentive to take it.
Deadly Visit here pulled to the front for Luis.
Well, Orzhov would be for the next set, I believe. That said, though,
staying open.
Right, exactly. So one of the most fundamental strategies of draft is starting by taking the most powerful card in the first 3 or 4 picks, and then from there, adapt. So unless Luis is going to go down a very specific direction, I think we're going to see that Deadly Visit getting picked.
All right, so that is the pickup, and I have just been told that Quasi-Duplicate was actually his pack 1, pick 1. So there's a smile.
All right, so Quasi-Duplicate, Conclave Tribunal, and Deadly Visit. Excellent.
I mean, let's go 5-color. Come on, Luis.
That is an ambitious 5-color deck.
Direct Current here, Deadly Visit number 2. There's a Beacon Bolt in this pack. What do you like here? Are you just going to take another Deadly Visit?
Yeah, I think so. Like, taking Direct Current to complete another color sounds cool and all, but like the second Deadly Visit is starting to give shape to Luis's deck. So I kind of like taking the Deadly Visit here and trying to narrow down. At that point, you're looking to either go into Dimir or Golgari. So I like taking the Deadly Visit here for that reason.
A lot of pros have been saying, you know, it's really important to pay attention to what colors are open in this draft format, especially super early on. Signals more important than they usually are?
I would say so. The main reason is you have to commit relatively early, so there's not much time to be open. So being open to start with, like the key point is when do I commit? And that's like one of the hardest things in this draft format is going, what pick can I sacrifice and when do I commit? And here, I think this Notion Rain is probably going to be the pick. Siegeworm has not really panned out in this format as it did in the original Ravnica. We had a lot more token producers. So yeah, we see Notion Rain here. Not necessarily a sign that Luis is going into Dimir, but with Quasi-Duplicate, 2 Deadly Visits, and it makes sense to lean in that direction and maybe change when the right cards come.
Oh, it feels so good to play Notion Rain too.
Oh yeah, Notion Rain does a lot. Pelt Collector.
Pelt Collector still in this pack. That just is a kind of a sign, I think, of how lowly players value green in this format.
Yeah, and I think that this draft format is self-correcting. I don't believe that the guilds have this high disparity in power level. So while Luis could stay in Dimir, I would actually take this Pelt Collector to be open, but goes for the Guildgate, maybe wants to lock it in with a bunch of double-colored blue and black cards.
Yeah, it's really helpful. So even if you're playing, for example, a 2-color straight guild deck, you still want the gates?
Yes, the mana requirements, and there's many excellent articles by Frank Carson who say it, and basically it goes down the line of you need many, many tap lands for these double-colored spells to work.
Well, if one Guildgate's good enough, how about a Golgari Guildgate as well? A lot of players really like this Wishcoin Crab too.
Yeah, if you're building a defensive deck and you think you're going to the top, Wishcoin Crab is quite nice, pass fill. But like the Adept here makes sense. I didn't see many 2-drop in Luis's deck. Not the best 2-drop, but sometimes you gotta play the 2-drop you have.
It's a way to get through damage too if you face a board stall with something like Celestia.
Right, if you have board control and just wanna like pluck away at the life total.
Yeah, Muse Drake. Take it. I love Muse Drake. You get a flyer,
Who
you
doesn't?
get to draw a card.
Who doesn't love Muse Drake? But yeah, here, yeah, Muse Drake, I think the clear pick. Bartizan Bats,
If you need a flyer.
right, but then you have Muse Drake.
Yeah.
Also, it looks like Luis's deck is looking to outvalue the opposition with 2 Deadly Visits, Quasi-Duplicate. Muse Drake fits into that plan nicely.
Taking a look here, there's an Is It Guildgate if he just wants to be safe. And that's
Yeah,
what he's going to take.
Yeah, it takes it. There's not really a card you would play otherwise, so might as well take the Is It Guildgate here. Could make a take. You could have said the Molder Hulk maybe to stay open, but I think at this point there's a very clear line.
Wow, that Plague Crafter here.
Yeah, Plague Crafter, it varies so much. Sometimes it's
Sure,
the best card ever
sure.
printed, and sometimes, oh, they made Sword Companions. This is great. I like it though here. Even if it doesn't make the main deck, it's so good as a sideboard card. It's a much better Golgari card though with Burglar Rats, for example. Bugler Rats.
Oh, yeah, he's going to take the Golgari Guildgate here, so now he's got a couple of those and a Dimir Guildgate. So we're setting ourselves up for a nice splash, which in Dimir I find I'm doing from time to time to cast stuff like Fine Finality or something like that.
For me, it's more the option for Guild Summit.
Oh, nice.
If you're in straight blue-black, you can then use the Golgari Guildgate as a card draw engine. I like.
Painful Stroke.
Yeah, I like the Dazzling Lights, by the way, that was picked. A really good card. It's been impressive because the creature stats are so similar in this format. So the -3 is more relevant than usual, and when you combine that with the synergy of Surveil, it's been a kind of a hidden gem.
Rise on Lurcher.
Yeah, the Lurcher, a really powerful card, just probably going to be taken here because, well, yeah, take those Golgari cards just in case something happens.
All right, let's take a look at where Luis ended up after pack number 1. Seems like we're pretty securely in Dimir here.
Yeah, it would take something pretty strong for Luis to get out of Dimir, but it is possible. I feel that with these black cards, I mean, spoiler alert, right? Ben Stark passed to Nizoni, so I'm going to be interested to see. That'll be pack 2, pick free. Is Luis going to jump ship there? But it seems pretty set in. He seems pretty set in Dimir here, to be honest.
Yeah, he's got a handful of gates, but only one Golgari Guildgate. I think I said 2 earlier, but I think he's just got 1. So if he does pick up that Izoni, it'll be pretty interesting to see if it makes his deck.
I think if he takes up that Izoni, then you're sacrificing the blue cards, and that's a lot of blue cards. Or you can go for the greediest deck ever. But
You know what? I gotta say, something else he might need are creatures.
it's all right. You got Deadly Visits.
I suppose, quasi-duplicate, at least if you've got 1. You've got 3, right?
Well, you need them to go dead, to all die. Wait, can you quasi-duplicate Izoni? I've never seen this deck. I don't think the mana works. You need like 2 Chromatic Lanterns, but
That'd be sweet, though.
Oh, that would be one of the sweetest decks I've ever seen.
All right, so what's he looking for heading into pack 2?
There's a lot of good removal in Luis's deck. I think he's looking for that kind of top-end control engine or fret, something that can lock out the game.
Sure. Something like a City Watch Sphinx, for example, even a Watcher in the Mist.
Yeah, Watcher in the Mist is a good example, and it's a common, so
Ooh, how about a disinformation campaign? Screw creatures. We just want to make people discard.
Well, they don't have cards. Also, that Dowser of Lights, it's not going to be picked here, but of course, disinformation campaign is far more powerful. But Luis might look at it going, this might come back. Necrotic Wound likely will get taken, so this Dowser of Lights could come back, or this Mesmerist, leaving with an option. And you can see Luis highlighting it. No, that's the type of top-end friend you want. If everything dies, you just go with a Dowser of Lights, and it clogs what's left and ends the game. But I think Luis here is clearly going to take this disinformation campaign, one of the highlights of the format.
Oh, yeah. Nothing like drawing a card and making your opponent discard.
Again and again and again and again.
It can be very brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what he gets past here from Ben Stark. Oh, that's right, the Nightveiled Predator.
Perfect fit. Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah,
this card is just insane.
Well, it's in that that vein of double, like quadruple color cards right. That series of cards really wants you to be 2 colors. Night Veil Predator. Oh my gosh. This reminds me of one of my draft decks, the Predator plus duplicate combo.
Oh,
That's
nice.
a late game engine.
Absolutely.
And exactly what Luis was looking for. With that, basically Luis can take control. You can just start you can just get this engine of Predator, try to control the board, stall it, and then when you get that duplicate, do a copy or 2, and then you take over easily. So that's a perfect card for Luis. The control X set, so now we're looking at filling out the curve. Cheap creatures and removal is really what Luis would be looking for here the most.
There's another disdainful stroke if he's interested in that. And there's that Izoni. Is he going to do it? He's only got 1 Golgari Guildgate, remember. But it's so powerful.
To be honest, Izoni here would be a sideboard card, as weird as that might even sound.
Why do you say that?
So it's really hard to try to make that work main deck, since the color requirements are so high. But if you face the most grindy matchup, then it's reasonable to start boarding in a double green splash, as weird as that might sound.
All right, he's going to take it. I like it.
Yeah, I think if you were going to play that card main deck, you need at least 4 Golgari Guildgates. He also remember that Chromatic Lantern that might wheel.
Yeah, and he did pull up that Guildgate towards the back, too, to see if that comes around.
Yeah, Golgari Guildgates tend to come around. People aren't in the market, but that Dimir Spybug is just
light
years ahead of anything.
I love the Spybug.
Yeah, just one of the more powerful uncommons in that trio, Night Veil Sprite, Dimir Spybug, and Disinformation Campaign, the backbone of all these very strong Dimir decks.
All right, easy pickup here for Luis. And this Dimir deck is starting to shape up really nicely, Eduardo.
Yeah, it's got a lot of top-end removal, basically taking over the game is not a problem. At this point, Luis is going to probably look, there's a lot of power, but you need those cheap, like a Deadweight would be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Probably won't come this pack, probably pack free, since it tends to be quite a powerful card.
There's another Dimir Guildgate if he's interested. Darkblade Agent, though. Get in the deck.
Yeah, there's a lot of free. Usually the free drop slot gets clogged up in Dimir because there's so many powerful frees.
Like your Disinformation Campaign?
Right. Whisper Agent is the other big one.
Sure.
Darkblade Agent. So normally you end up with enough frees, but Darkblade Agent will be easily the pick here. Luis doesn't even have that many, and it fills the curve nicely. It works so well with Deadly Visits. Dazzling Lights and Darkblade Agent also is beautiful.
Oh, yes, it is.
So
I mean,
much
it's such a threat, too, if he's surveilling. Muse Drake here, another Dimir Guildgate. You taking the gate or the Drake?
Based on what I've seen, I think there's enough power in Luis's deck. I would take the Dimir Guildgate. I think at this point, you're mostly more likely to lose to Mana Screw than anything else. So I would take the Dimir Guildgate to kind of secure my deck. Gateway Plaza, though, okay. If Luis takes Gateway Plaza, he's looking for Izoni. There's no Dimir Guildgate is clearly going to be better in a vacuum. So Luis here has a very clear plan to get Izoni with Quasi-Duplicate.
All right, so we're talking about main deck here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that Thoughtbound Phantasm, that last uncommon payoff in Dimir.
It's so good. It's just terrifying to see that thing come down on turn 1.
We were talking about the lack of early plays. Well, there we go. That solves that problem.
And, as soon as you can say anything, it's a 5/5 and it's attacking you.
Yeah, that is one of the uncommons that has really increased it. I've been more and more impressed. I was quickly impressed, to be honest. It didn't take much.
How's Guild Mage? We're doing it.
There's not many Dimir drafters at the table, so yeah, let's go. It's the clear pick.
Wow, this deck is awesome.
Yeah, just lacking early plays, and you get one of the. There's every good uncommon. We're only missing Night Veil Sprite.
Yeah,
that's about
true.
it.
That's true. 2-pack deck.
2-pack deck. No, that can happen. I think at this point, Luis is just looking to solidify the deck. Yeah.
And there's, just like you said, that Dowser.
Yeah, and Luis was eyeing the Dowser earlier, but now that you there's so much good top end, we're gonna look at the Dimir Guildgate, I think, here.
Okay. Yep, and you're right. He's gonna take that Dimir Guildgate, help out his mana. Really interested to see where the Izoni ends up. Is it Guildgate here? Wishcoin Crab. I think he puts a crab in his deck, don't you?
Yeah, easily. There's not too many 4s, and it's if you need
Blocks
more
everything.
defense.
Yeah.
Went to a basketball game, so I'm hyped up.
Awesome. Spinal Centipede here, Mephitic Vapors, an excellent sideboard inclusion.
Yeah, I think the correct pick here, but I think Spinal Centipede is kind of this card that people aren't valuing high enough.
Yeah.
It works. It does a lot of good work in the Golgari decks and even in the Dimir decks sometimes. I think it has a lot of value. I agree with the Vapors because Luis is going down a very different direction. I don't think this route might as well take it, but probably not seeing the deck. Yeah, I think it's undervalued. Oh, wow, that Guildgate. Perfect.
Excellent. Takes
Yeah.
the Guildgate here.
Now, if you get a Guild Summit, like, that's it. I'm happy. The Lantern didn't come back, interestingly. I mean, it's
That's
not
true.
that high a pickup, so someone's going deep.
All right, all right.
Crush Contraband.
And just picking up the final card there of pack number 2. Okay, Eduardo, 2 packs in. How's his deck?
I'm good. I don't need a third pack.
Yeah, right? I mean, like,
Well, I do, but I don't.
this is excellent. This is what you've got to hope for when you come to the Pro Tour.
Yeah, this is what I draft on Arena. Like, this is exactly what I'm
Me
looking
too.
for. Like, I don't know what to say. Like I was worried about the early drops. Those got filled in nicely. You can just see here the Phantasm, the Dimir Spybug, the House Guild Mage. Everything's kind of working right where Luis wants it at this information campaign. Maybe we're looking. We get a deadweight or two. The only thing again is that Izoni, whether to splash or not. But I think with Luis's deck being this powerful, it's not a necessity.
You don't even need it.
Right, but if you don't need it, then you need to find maybe 1 or 2 more top-end cards.
Okay.
So I'd like to see Luis pick up, if the pack doesn't give the kind of mana-fixing goods, 1 or 2 more top-end cards, like Dowser of Light. We have that Golgari Guildgate, we have that Gateway Plaza. We need 2 sources more, really. 3, that's very ambitious. I would say we need at least 2 more Golgari Guildgates, and then we get a good old Gargoyle to round
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Right, what about duplicating some Gargoyles?
Oh, that sounds sweet.
Yeah, can do both. Just play the Gargoyle, your opponent's like, that's all. Also, that's why the Crush Contraband might have gotten taken. I mean, it looks a bit weird, right, to talk about a 14th pick card, but like, if Luis is looking for Guild Summit and the Gargoyle, you know, the 6/6, 7/7 flyer in a deck like this, then at that point the Crush Contraband could be a real problem as a sideboard card. So even though it's not hurting Luis now, it could have. And I like the mindset here of, I'm just going to take this just in case. Since
Yeah.
Golgari Raiders isn't doing anything.
That's super interesting, too, because it's something that I probably wouldn't even think about when I'm drafting. And here, he's like already thinking, what if I get the Gargoyle? I better take the Contraband because the excellent side.
Imagine you have Summit Gargoyle and you Crush Contraband. At that point, like, you lose a game that can't be lost.
All right, let's take a look here. Pack number 3 for Luis Salvatto, our Player of the Year, Barrier of Bones here near the back. I didn't really see anything amazing here.
I've never seen Gateway Plaza get first pick or Dazzling Lights, but this is the world we might be living in.
Do you play 2 Dazzling Lights in this deck?
It's close. With Campaign and a Darkblade Agent, plus the Night Veil Predator. Night Veil Predator good here because it's very hard for, Death Touch
right.
synergizes so well with Dazzling Lights. I mean, this is a hate draft, which I usually am not a fan of those. It has to go in someone's deck. Then you have to face that person and they have to draw that card. So I'm not usually a fan of hate drafting. So I think here I would have still taken the Lights or the Gateway Plaza and try to synergize, solidify the deck, even though Luis is quite far ahead.
Yeah, not a lot for him here either. There's another Wishcoin Crab. Is it Guildgate?
It's a good thing we have our deck after 2 packs.
Yeah, that's true, because we're not getting it now.
No, I mean, this happens. Like, sometimes you just open what are really weak packs. Like, the Shaman is, like, the best card I've really seen out of 2 packs. The Direct Current, of course.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised about that Direct Current pick. There's not that many 2-drop, like 2 toughness creatures in the deck apart from the House Guild Mage. Yeah, take that Crab.
The Crabs overperform for me, though, honestly. I know it's just a 2/5, but it's...
There was just no other pick. Like, if you wanted a card for Luis's deck, that was it. That was the card, the one card. Yeah.
All right, there's a command. This.
Oh, wow. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
The Reaper.
Midnight Reaper.
Easy Midnight Reaper. One of the most powerful, secretly one of the most powerful rares in this set. If it doesn't die in combat, it just makes combat a nightmare.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you can't trade. Trading becomes horrific. Yeah, I think easy Midnight Reaper here.
All right, that's going to be the pickup for him. I've had my opponent die to their Midnight Reaper trigger, by the way.
Of course,
Not
that's
a
how
May.
the card's designed. It's there to harvest souls. Now, that might be your own.
Very flavorful.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I like that it's not a May ability.
Me too. You don't have any say in the matter.
No.
Another Darkblade agent, Enhanced Surveillance, Devious Cover-Up, and a Whisper agent.
This is a really
This
close
is
pick.
interesting.
Yeah, between the agent and, well, the agent.
Yeah, right.
Whether you want to have a Dark Blade or a Whisper is a close pick. I think the Dark Blade agent is the pick just because of that Dazzling Lights that might come back. And if you can pick up a third Dark Blade agent, I know that sounds very hopeful, but it's possible. And then 2 Dazzling Lights and 3 Dark Blade agents is a very powerful combination.
All right, Dark Blade Agent is the pickup, so now we've got 2 in Luis Salvatto's deck, which is very heavy on Surveil, using those agents to help draw some cards, get some Death Touch, Devious Cover-Up. There's another couple of Guild.
There we go. There's that agent. And now that Dazzling Lights is going to... I think Luis is going to regret taking that direct current if the Dazzling Lights doesn't wheel, although, let's be honest, it probably will.
It's probably going to wheel,
Yeah,
the way this draft is going.
Perfect. For Dark Blade Agent, get 2 Dazzling Lights. I think no matter kind of what happens, call it a day. Maybe get another top-end Fred, the Dowser of Lights, or something to go over the top, but even the Night Veil Predator with quasi-duplicate is enough.
Yeah.
I'd like one more Golgari Guildgate. Even if you don't play Izoni main deck, make a very powerful sideboard.
There's Notion Rain, another House Guildmage.
Definitely House Guildmage for me here.
Wow.
The Notion Rain, very powerful, but again, Dimir decks, tons of free drops. You can see those Dark Blade agents. House Guildmage, one of the premier 2 drops in the deck, though.
It's so excellent. Just lock something down forever, trigger your Surveil, make your Spy Bug huge.
Like the free Dark Blade agents with that is just like that into Dark Blade agent. Like Luis's deck is just unreal. I mean, maybe it's not like one of the best decks I've ever seen, but it's just
very
powerful. Like if you're at the Pro Tour and you're offered Luis's deck to start the draft, you're like, yes. Please. Whoa!
Night Veil Sprite!
Night Veil Sprite! Holy smokes! What a pickup!
I'm so excited.
No, you're right.
So
This
good.
is like
This comes out on turn 2?
we've completed all of the good Dimir
We checked it all
uncommons.
off.
Every single one. Check. We only missing Price of Fame. That's the one I haven't seen. Everything else is check boxes.
Wow.
This is it. The deck is done. We're good. Call it a day. Register it. We're happy.
Look at that look on his face. That is confidence. And there's your Guildgate.
This is close between the Golgari Guildgate and Passveil Adept. Again, you're not playing Izoni main deck with a deck this powerful, I believe. But with 3 Golgari Guildgates, it's very reasonable with all the Surveil to make Izoni work. So I think with Luis's deck looks shaping up so well, it's do you want to sideboard 2-drop against the aggressive decks? And I see that pick, yeah.
Yeah. Because
Basically,
the way this deck loses is a good Boros draw, right?
The way this deck loses, it doesn't draw the right mix of lands and spells. And
That too.
yeah. No, just Dazzling Lights came back.
There it is.
You could make a case for the Barrier of Bones as a sideboard card. I prefer the Dazzling Lights personally, though. I like the trick.
All right, he does too. Dazzling Lights, number 2, headed to the deck with those 3 Darkblade agents.
Yeah, and also Surveil 2 is just so much better than Surveil 1. Not like twice as better, but still very good.
Is it Guildgate, Glowspore Shaman, as we round out pack number 3 here for Luis Salvatto? I love those kitty stamps on the cards too.
Oh, that is a good touch.
I love it.
Righteous Blow, kind of an interesting pick, but probably to defend that Night Veil Sprite.
Yeah.
Although I'd be surprised. It would only be as a main deck. Child of Night again, also great. Maybe not seeing the main deck, but a very good option.
It's interesting too. You can kind of learn a little bit about a format by how good Child of Night is in that format.
I usually dislike formats where Child of Night is a good card. Since that implies a lot of aggression, I prefer sweetness.
Devious Cover-Up, is that making the cut, do you think?
Well, the second one with 2, maybe. I kind of like taking the second one for like the control mirrors, but I don't know about that Dimir Locket. I don't think Luis is ever playing that card. Oh,
What? Notion Raid?
Okay, fine. We have a pick. Yeah, Luis is like, well, scratching his head probably because it's irritating. Not, why is that there?
He can't be mad about it. That's awesome.
Luis would play a 50-card limited deck and still be very, like, this is one of the better decks at the table. I don't know if it was like navigating the draft well or anything. It was just the cards were there. Like, that was the deck that was open. Luis was like, okay, well, that Conclave Tribunal, we weren't locked, right? It was just the flurry of Dimir uncommons.
The flow didn't stop.
It just kept flowing, just the goods. It was this river of wonder.
Yeah, I wish I was in Luis's seat right now because that deck is awesome. What grade do you give it?
That's a nay for sure. Like,
All right.
that's, like, if you're sitting for the Pro Tour and you're like sat down and you're like, what deck do you hope for? I would say that deck.
Absolutely.
It might go wrong, games of Magic can happen, but that deck is like the deck I would want to sign up for in a Pro Tour draft any day of the week.
All right, we'll see if Luis can 3-0 with this work of art. More Magic coming up in a second.